Another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live?
From Snow's Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway in Gonzales at 74. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm Charles Hannegriff. Jordan Kitchen's back in the studio. Jimmy's still on vacation. Max is out today, but Randy McKay will be with us today, as will Wes Reynolds. Max will check in with his consensus golf picks in the next hour. And Scott Rabelais out at LSU practice this morning because today is the first day of LSU camp, kind of the Christmas day for a lot of fans to actually see the Tigers out on the practice field. And let me just give you some of the logistics of how this is going to work throughout the camp. They are giving a ample amount, as Brian Kelly has done since he's been here, an ample amount of media availability, including today, which they started at 9:45 this morning. Also, like the Saints, they are using some of their periods indoors because, in case you hadn't noticed, it's pretty hot out there and the recovery is important. So they were starting inside today and then going outside. The media reporting periods are going to vary from practice to practice, but today the media was let in at 9:45 for some of the indoor stuff and then to the outdoor before they were moved out. They're unlike Saints practice where there's reporting allowed from the field. LSU doesn't allow that, so you're not going to see any of the people that cover LSU football sending out pictures, videos, tweets, or any information until the practice is over. That's LSU's media policy. So even though the practice started an hour and 15 minutes ago, and obviously I wasn't there because I'm here, we don't have anything coming out the practice field, although Brian Kelly is having one of his media availabilities as soon as we start, and I think that is coming close to beginning right now. That was supposed to start just a few minutes ago, so we should have some information starting to come in here in the next 15 minutes or so as Kelly addresses the media. This is not a padded practice. We're just on day one, but if you're wondering, hey, the practice starts and we don't get anything till it's over, that's why. Just kind of give you an insight as to how the sausage is made here during practice. So we should see some reports starting to come in. We're going to talk with Rab in his normal spot at 12 as soon as he is with us, and Brian Kelly is again getting ready. I think they're getting ready right now to start talking. Yeah, he's going to start here in just a couple of minutes. So that's what's going on with LSU. I'm as anxious as any of you are to hear how the first practice went because, again, I'm not out there right now. What we do have is the rest of our regular show today. We'll continue with our NFL preview. We're on the Broncos today with Randy McKay. Scott's out at LSU football. Wes Reynolds, who hit last week at the 3M's, got some golf picks for us, plus some college football stuff that he wants to talk with us about. But we start today with the first, what I would call, significant injury of the college football season where LSU is concerned, and it's not an LSU injury. It is at Florida, where DJ Lagway is not ready to start fall camp. This is contradictory to what they said a couple of weeks ago at SEC Media Days. Lagway has a calf strain. He is in a boot to start fall camp, which, if I'm a Florida Gator fan, this has got me pretty bummed right now because Lagway missed spring. He said 7 starts as a freshman. They were 6-1 in his starts, but at the beginning of spring practice, he had a right shoulder injury. They haven't ruled out surgery somewhere down the line for that shoulder, but he started throwing after spring in April, and he said, I'm ready to go. Well, then he strained a calf muscle last week, and so he's not ready to go. Billy Napier, who has also been pretty accommodating with the media as far as allowing them into practice at Florida since he's been there, has closed viewing periods to the media for the first 3 days of practice. Don't know when Lagway is going to come back. Harrison Bailey is getting the first team reps. If that name's not familiar to you, Don't worry about it. Harrison Bailey played at Tennessee his first year, UNLV his second year, Louisville his third year, and in his entire career has thrown about 130 passes, has completed about 60% of them, and last year played in just 3 games. He did play in the bowl game as a starter, but the other 2 games were in mop-up duty. So you have a journeyman that is playing quarterback for Florida right now, and that's the transfer portal era. If you got a quarterback that is really good, or is up and coming or has some potential, probably not going to stick around to be a backup. This is what you end up with as a backup quarterback a lot of time. So he's the guy right now, and Napier's not all that excited to see or excited for the media to see that at this point. I did want to go back, though, because this caused me to go back and come up with what I thought was the most confounding loss of LSU's season last year, and that was to the Florida Gators when they lost that game 27-16. It was their 3rd consecutive loss. The first time that's happened to Brian Kelly, and it hadn't happened at LSU, period, very often in the last 25 years. So that was the most irritating loss, I thought, to me. And how did they lose that game? Because LSU had such a massive advantage in that game. If you're trying to remember what happened in that game, that was a game that LSU had the ball for nearly 42 minutes. They outgained Florida by 53 yards. They outrushed them by 30 yards, and they had the ball basically the entire game. Why did LSU lose this game? Well, you said they turned the ball over a lot in that game. No, they lost the turnover battle 1-0. What happened in that game was LSU was not able to finish too many drives. They had a 13-play drive to miss a field goal, a 12-play drive that led to a field goal, and 2 15-play drives that ended up in field goals. LSU ran 55 plays on their field goal drives alone to 43 for Florida. But what happened? Lagway hit 2 big passes, one to Elijah Badger, and the other one to I'm trying to remember who the guy was that caught the other ball. It was Shamiri Dyke. They both caught long passes that set up scores for Florida, and they were able to get touchdowns out of those drives. 14 points in the fourth quarter. Did Lagway make a bunch of plays in that game? He did not. For the game, he threw for 226 yards. He was 13 out of 26. It was okay. Florida didn't run the ball a lot, but they had the 2 big plays, one by Jaden Ball, which put the game away, the 55-yard touchdown run, and they had one other 20-yard run. Other than that, their running game was pretty much held in check. LSU gave this game away. Even though they lost by 11 points, it looks like, they kind of got handled on the road. They did not. LSU, their offense basically beat themselves that day. So after I went back and looked at that game, let me go back and look and see just how good Lagway was for the rest of the season, because there is this perception, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody, that Lagway was really, really good last year and that he saved Billy Napier's job. Well, he saved Napier's job, but was he really, really good, or was it a confluence of circumstances that led Florida to what the record that they ended up with? Before they played LSU, these were the Florida wins last year. They beat Samford, who cares? They beat Mississippi State, who was terrible. They beat Central Florida, who was not good. And they beat Kentucky, who had the worst season under Mark Stoops since he's been there. They were blown out in the opener against Miami. They were blown out against Texas A&M in the middle of September. That was the game that Mertz went out of, but A&M had a 33-7 lead in that game. They played well in a loss in overtime at Tennessee. And then you get to the game where they're given all this credit, which was they were in the game with Georgia. They had a lot of momentum in the game against Georgia, a game that they would eventually lose because Lagway went out with the injury in that game, and they had to go to a freshman walk-on named Aiden Warner, who went 7 out of 22. But it's not like if Lagway had stayed in the game that Florida was guaranteed a win. When he left the game, it was the second quarter, and Florida was leading Georgia 10-3. Georgia looked lethargic in that game. Florida was into it. Lagway was playing with some confidence, but the lead was 10-3. I think there's a perception out there that if Lagway plays the whole game, Florida wins. Maybe they do, but it was no foregone conclusion that they were going to win that game. I've seen Georgia, even in their championship years, kind of meander around, kind of go through the motions a little bit, and then, okay, we're ready to play now, and win the game in the fourth quarter. There's a game against Missouri in one of their national championship years that really stands out that honestly Georgia probably should have lost. So I don't know if Georgia doesn't come back and win the game anyway. Then Lagway sat out the next week against Texas, and they got blown out in that game. So at that point, they've got 4 unimpressive wins and 5 losses. They had done nothing. Napier was on his way out the door, and I think there were 2 things that saved Napier's job last year. One of them was that they got on this win streak at the end of the season, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more here. And the second one was that they had an interim president. So what happened? I just told you what happened in the LSU game. Did Lagway win that game for Florida? He made a couple of big plays. He made a couple of big throws, and he is a talent. I don't want to downplay the upside for this young man because I think it's tremendous. But did he put him on and carry him in that game? He did not. LSU largely lost that game because of their inability to cash in on drives. They moved the ball up and down the field in the 20s, but couldn't do anything past that. So come to the next week, and it's Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is playing they were ranked in the top 10 in the country at that point. They're playing with the playoffs on the line, and Florida beat them. Did Florida beat them because of DJ Lagway? I would say no. I would tell you that Lagway threw for 180 yards in that game, but what happened was Ole Miss turned the ball over 3 times, and the last 2 were on Florida's side of the field in the fourth quarter. Jackson Dart had a really tough game that day, but Ole Miss still outgained Florida by 120 yards. They had more first down. There was one big play that Florida made to set up what ended up being the winning touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown. But Ole Miss's last 3 drives were a 3-and-out and 2 interceptions. It was a very rough day for Jackson, a rough fourth quarter for Jackson Dart. We're going to give Lagway credit for that win. He didn't play badly, but he didn't carry him either. The next week they played Florida State. Florida State was awful last year. Florida won the game 31-11, and Florida State fumbled the ball 8 times. Not making that up. They lost 5 of them. They fumbled the ball 8 times. Lagway threw for 133 yards in Florida's win. They mostly won because they averaged 6.2 yards per carry. They ran all over Florida State's front 7. And still, Florida's 20-point win was due mostly to the fact that Florida State just gave them the ball. Then the last game, the one in the bowl game against Tulane, where Tulane was playing without Damian Mensah. He had already left school at that point, put himself in the transfer portal. He ended up at Duke, and Tulane started Ty Thompson at quarterback. The former 5-star from Oregon was so unimpressive in that game that he changed positions in the offseason. Okay, he threw a couple bad interceptions or threw 3 interceptions in that game. And Lagway really, you're going to look at the box score and say, well, he threw for over 300 yards. It was his day. It was not. In fact, Jimmy and I watched that game from right here at Snows. It was a few days before Christmas. And in the first half, Florida led this game by a total of 6-0. Again, Tulane was playing a quarterback that is now a tight end. Lagway threw 2 bad interceptions, including 1 in the end zone. Now, Florida warmed down, and they ran away with this thing at the end. But I wouldn't say Lagway was great that day. He threw for a bunch of yards in the second half. So if I'm a Florida fan, I'm wondering, what do I have here? I got a 4-game win streak to end the season that saved Billy Napier's job. And DJ Lagway was a big part of that. And he's got a ton of potential. And I like his leadership. I like his moxie. But he did not blow the field away in that 4-game winning streak. LSU couldn't convert on offense. Jackson Dart fell apart in the fourth quarter in Gainesville. Florida State was not any good, and Tulane was playing a tight end at quarterback. So let's not over-exaggerate. And I'm going to all of this because Florida's in Tiger Stadium in week 3. And if I'm Florida, I want TJ Lagway on the field practicing every minute of every practice that I can get him out there. They were 6-1 in his starts, but it's not like he went out there and performed the way Jameis Winston did in his freshman year, his redshirt freshman year, I guess, to be fair. It was a lot of circumstances that led to Florida's win. I would be concerned about that if I were the Gators. So keep an eye on that. Injuries are always such a huge, huge part of fall camp. I wouldn't want one to my quarterback before they even get started good. We're here at Snow's Seafood and Steak. Wednesday, the lunch special today, the smoked Gouda sliders. That's the ground beef patties grilled to perfection, topped with bacon jam, smoked Gouda cheese, served on a roll with the chipotle aioli and baby spinach. Also, they do great salads here, huge salads for lunch. Today's a grilled chicken sensation salad. They do a Southwest chicken salad. They do a taco salad that is fantastic. And tomorrow it's the blackened mahi salad with the blood orange vinaigrette. That's your Thursday lunch special. The grilled chicken sensation salad today. And on Friday, it's Zapp's Catfish, the fresh catfish strips rolled in mustard batter, spicy Zapp's potato chips, and fried golden brown on the jalapeno tartar sauce for our dipping here at Snow's Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at 74 in Gonzales. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends at MR Property Group, LSU alums, Miriam Del Rio and Remy Curry, big LSU sports fans as well. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, that's right, they can help you out. And they're familiar with what has to be done. They're pleasant to deal with. They realize that there's no such thing as a dumb question. It's a big deal. A big deal. And then they'll seek the information that you're looking for. They'll answer any questions that you have. And then their experience at whether negotiating for you as a seller, they have a great track record of producing top marks for selling in the greater Baton Rouge area. And then also for if you're buying, it's not quite the price. It might not this condition. I want to change this. I want this budget for maybe, I don't know, some flooring. Whatever it is to try and complete the deal to make you comfortable as a buyer as well. And as investing, no doubt, never a bad time to invest in some real estate. MR Property Group with Keller Williams Red Stick Partners in Baton Rouge, 230-4242, 230-4242.
Live at lunch.
We're here to examine things that get better with age, like this bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, vintage 1877. Age can make things more valuable, like this Picasso from his Blue Period, 1904. And treasured, like this Roto-Rooter jingle, 1954.
Roto-Rooter jingle?
Just listen to it.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And the wind go trebles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
A timeless melody.
Roto-Rooter?
The lithe arrangement.
But it's a clog-busting company.
Wrong there. Roto-Rooter has grown into more than a clog-busting company. They're North America's largest full-service plumber and drain cleaner. And when you need Roto-Rooter, remembering this jingle can be priceless.
Roto-Rooter.
For all of your plumbing and drainage solutions, call Roto-Rooter in Baton Rouge at 925-8710. That's 925-8710.
This is Charles Henniger for Total Maintenance for AC and heating, generators, electricity, and plumbing. Total Maintenance is your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these needs. Service today, every day. That's their slogan at Total Maintenance, so nobody ever has to go to sleep hot. Over the years, Total Maintenance has expanded into the New Orleans area, as well as their offices in Baton Rouge with full staffs in both markets. Call 480-1000 in Baton Rouge or in New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference. All in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net.
Get Moss Max and less text during happy hour at Modesto. Join us Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. for $10 20-ounce margaritas and Dip Trio with $5 drink specials and $6 seasonal cocktails. Eat Modesto, 3930 Burbank Drive.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating up its new half-off happy hour, Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Come enjoy 50% off margarita, pepperoni, more cheese, craft cocktails, wine by the glass, and draft beer. Roca Pizzeria, 3897 Government.
Congratulations are in order for one of my favorite places to eat, Snow Seafood and Steaks, celebrating its 50th anniversary. That's right, since 1971, Snow's has been serving a wide assortment of menu items to please everyone. Steaks, seafood, gumbo, homemade soup, salads, specialty cocktails, great wine selection, and oh yes, the best white chocolate bread pudding that you'll find anywhere. It's the total dining experience. Happy 50th anniversary to my friends at Snow Seafood and Steak, Airline Highway at Highway 74 in Gonzales. By now you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Town Room at Dozy Place. The Crown Town Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer. Get the seared tuna with a sriracha glaze for the perfect blend of sweet and spicy. You can't go wrong also with the flash fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Dozy Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports. And it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions. Just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We're also brought to you in part by the Thibodaux Store and the Pierre Part Store. Thibodaux Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. You know, if you don't have it, if they don't have it, you probably don't need it because they got everything at the Thibodaux Store. If you're doing home improvements, from hand tools and power tools, lumber that you can order from the Pierre Part Store to be delivered, to matching paint, to electrical supplies, to plumbing supplies, you can do all of these home improvement projects. And you can get some help if you're like me and you don't know how to do these things. Some of the smaller projects, without having to hire a contractor or hire a handyman, they can help you work it through step by step. Don't waste any time. Don't waste any money on materials that you don't need. You're still working on your back patio. Outdoor Expressions still has their patio furniture that is on special at the website, thethibodauxstore.com. Also, large number of grills and griddles that are available all the way from the small sizes all the way up to your big green egg cookers, cordless power tools, tool storage, outdoor power equipment. You're working on your grass spreaders and seeders, potting and topsoils, grass and weed control, all available at the Thibodaux Store. And if you're going fishing down on the coast, a ton of fishing gear available there too. Open daily until 5:30 and online it's thethibodauxstore.com. So we have some information out of the first LSU practice that is already over. And that's the first thing that Brian Kelly talked about today. We're not going to have time to turn sound around right now. This just happened, but I'll give you the highlights of what Kelly talked about. The first workout was just about an hour, and that's a departure from what you usually see at this time of year. Kelly said that this is about acclimation, that most soft tissue injuries occur within the first 7 days, and they'll have 3 weeks to duplicate all of their processes. Without asking a follow-up question, this sounds like something out of Jack Marucci's lab. Jack Marucci, who is as good at what he does as anybody in the country. His reputation is widely known. People think about him as the baseball bat guy, but look, as an athletic trainer and as their He's got a fancy title now, but basically he's over the entire team as far as getting them ready. This sounds like a stat that he would come up with, that, where all these soft tissues injuries are coming from. They're coming from the very beginning of camp before everybody gets acclimated. So they only went about an hour today. Kelly said if they were putting a team together today for the first time, he'd be nervous, but this group he's been working on for 7 months, has felt good about this team for 3 or 4 weeks now. That's about when everybody got on campus. Said if they went back to January from the guys they brought in spring ball to the offseason, they know what the goal is. It's to go 1-0. Been much more intentional about talking about the opener since then. I wouldn't go so far as to call this a controversial approach. Everybody points towards the opener, but it is something that I'm sure is going to get a lot of attention if they happen to lose this game. You'll get the jokes about the Tiger Prints, the Clemson Tiger Prints in the locker room, and all of the emphasis that they happen to lose this game. But for the moment, I don't care all that much that he's putting this much emphasis on it. They need to win that game. Kelly said it was great to have both Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins back. They can appreciate their presence from day one. The temperature's a little bit different with those guys in the room. These are their unquestioned, leaders on defense, especially Weeks, who kind of assumed that role last year. Garrett Nussmeier, impressive on his first day. The indoor session, his best ball of the day was a deep bomb that went to Barry and Brown in tight coverage for a touchdown. Kelly talked about Dominic McKinley, the now rising sophomore defensive tackle, said they ran out of weights for him on the max squat. He was at 650 pounds. I think they had more than 650 pounds in there, but okay. McKinley, one of those guys that could take a major move forward this year. Kelly said that they've got 8 receivers that they feel good about them. The order and how exactly they work through with them, they've got to figure that out. But I could, I can see that. That's one of the positions that I feel real good about too. I think if you start with Chris Hilton, a healthy Chris Hilton and a healthy Nick Anderson, and I'm going to get to Anderson here in a second. We got a note on him. And you talk about Aaron Anderson, who was a second-team All-SEC pick, had a really good year last year. I'm going to count, the tight ends. Bauer Sharp was Oklahoma's leading receiver last year. We talked yesterday with Rohan a lot about Tre'Davious Green. Savion Thomas, who made some big plays on special teams a year ago. Yeah, I think you do have a huge amount of receivers that you can count on. Anderson had no 11-on-11 work since the fender bender he got into. He was in concussion protocol. He is now cleared concussion protocol. He will be able to get into 11-on-11 and 7-on-7 tomorrow. Kelly talked about the offensive line a little bit, said they are still competing for positions. They have to evaluate who the best 5 are, see who that is over the next couple of weeks. I think that when this all shakes out, what we're expecting, I think when you talk about Weston Davis and Tyree Adams at the tackles, and probably DJ Chester and Josh Thompson at the guards and Braylon Moore at center is what we're expecting. We see something different than that. That's what camp is for. Said that they had clocked Nussmeier at in the high 4.5, said he can run. We'll see. There's been no shortage of talk about that since Nussmeier took over as a starting quarterback. Do we want him to run? The universal answer to that, and mine as well, is, well, a little bit. Do I want him running like Jaden Daniels? No, not that he could even if he wanted to. Do I want him running as much as Joe Burrow did? Probably not even quite that much, but I want him to run more than he did a year ago. It's about getting the defense to respect that 1 or 2 times that you pull it in a game, or that 1 or 2 times where you bail everybody out and the middle is wide open and you can scramble for 10, 12, 15 yards and then get down before anybody hits you. Rohan and I said it actually in unison yesterday. Make sure you're getting down. Make sure you get out of bounds. I'm not talking about running the option play here. I'm not even talking about running, the quarterback sneak or the tush push in short yardage. We're talking about when the defense completely ignores you, then you got to run. Said he's in the high 4.5s right now. So we all knew he wasn't a statue. Never thought of Garrett Nussmeier as that, but never thought of him in the veins of a running quarterback either. He's just got to do it enough to keep the defenses honest. So, sounds like a pretty routine first day, with the exception of this is a shorter practice than they have had in past years to open fall camp. We're brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff done a great job for our family over the years. So if you've got back pain, if you've got neck pain, if you've got soreness, if you've got things that are just bothering you all day, if you've got things that are keeping you from having a full range of motion, getting around as well as you'd like, if you have you're having trouble sleeping because you're having some discomfort, let them work into a program like they've done for our family, and they'll get you into a program where the exercise and stretches, some of the sometimes you call it prehab, will prevent some of these things from reoccurring. They'll get you loosened up a little bit, but if you do need to be adjusted or get into a dry needle or electric nerve stimulation, cryo or ultrasound therapy, they'll pinpoint those target areas for you and get you to feeling better. Located Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Randy McKay. We'll continue our NFL previews. Today is the Broncos, and then Scott Rabelais will be with us with his thoughts on LSU's first day on the Ponderosa. Live at Snow's Seafood and Steak on Airline in Gonzales. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget my friends over at Go Chevrolet in Laplace, and then Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. The Go Automotive Group, my buddy Lee Carney and the great team over there. Man, the Silverado trucks, Colorado trucks are outstanding. How about the SUVs? Ultra popular Tahoes and Suburbans. I got the Trailblazers, the Blazers, the Traverse Equinoxes as well. Some of our cars like the Corvette, Camaro, and Malibu. We've got electric vehicles as well. Take the short drive over to Laplace like I did, and I don't just talk about the vehicles from Go Chevrolet. I drive a Chevy Tahoe that I got from Lee Carney over at Go Chevrolet. My buddy Lee, go check him out over at Go Chevrolet in Laplace.
Live at lunch. This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and OCBrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance. And Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt. The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games since 1988. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
You've heard me talk about Workbox services and how they can handle all of your movable storage needs for both commercial and residential. With our shipping containers of all sizes, customized in any way that you need or desire. Now Martine Padial has expanded his coverage outside the Baton Rouge area. Workbox can now service the Gulf Coast and New Orleans areas all the way to Lake Charles. Our staff at Workbox continues to grow with Hannah, Martine Jr., Brandy, and Chris. Do like I did when I needed a movable storage unit. Call Workbox at 343-4886 or workboxllc.com.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports. And it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions. Just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net.
Sammy's Grill on Highland Road since 1988. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games in a casual atmosphere with the friendliest service. We're now bowling crabs at Sammy's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday starting at 5 p.m. and on Friday, Saturday, Sunday starting at noon. Sammy serves a wide mix of authentic Louisiana food prepared to order with the best ingredients available. Fresh Louisiana seafood, Cajun favorites, burgers, and po' boys, all built from scratch. Our kids' menu and popular appetizers are sure to please the pickiest of eaters. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road near Starring since 1988.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus, $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games. Just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 Wesley, near Nicholson.
Uh-oh, they let the big dog out.
Oh! Out of nowhere!
It's time for the big dog, Randy McKay, with his best picks.
And return here at Snow's Seafood and Steak in Gonzales, and we bring in Randy McKay. Randy, how you doing? Good to have you back with us. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I just crossed the Snake River. You probably know what the most famous thing about the Snake River is. So I'm traveling back to North Dakota from. I went around to Nevada and then through Idaho here.
You remind me the Snake River. Is this remind me about the Snake River?
Remember the famous jump growing up with Evel Knievel?
Ah, okay. Well, what I remember about that was the one at Caesar's Palace is the one I remember, but I have heard about his jump over the Snake River. I remember the one over the old fountains at Caesar's Palace. That was in the 70s, man. When Evel Knievel made a jump, it was like you compare it to a big fight, right? Everybody got real interested in this thing that they would not pay attention to the rest of the time, and Evel Knievel would try to jump over something. Yeah, I do vaguely remember that. Did he make it?
Yeah, he made this one. He had trouble on the one in Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, that was the one I
banged up there. There was a bad landing, and he got really he broke every bone the way it was anyway, but he broke some ones extra on that one.
I had one of those toy Evel Knievel motorcycles when I was a kid that you wind up and it would go down the driveway or whatever. I do remember Evel Knievel that, but I had forgotten about the Snake River. Jimmy will be back next week, I think, Randy. This is about the time of year that he thinks about moving to San Diego permanently, but I expect him back this week. But for one more week, we'll hold down the fort. We'll continue our NFL previews with the Denver Broncos, and you spent a pretty good amount of time in Colorado. So last year, second year under Sean Payton, and the first year for Bo Nix, they made the playoffs. I would not have picked them at the beginning of the season to make the playoffs, but Nix was a lot better in his rookie season than I would have expected before it started. I know you got to see the Broncos a lot from the time you spent in Colorado. Was it a big surprise to you that they made the playoffs last year?
Yeah, it was. They were. They weren't high on my radar mainly because I didn't know what they're going to get out of Nix. I knew they would have a pretty good defense, but this defense is really improving. So their success last year was a little bit more of a surprise than what I thought they would do, and then getting into the playoffs was a big thing for them too. So I see this team improving this year.
Well, let's get to it. The Denver Broncos total over under is 9.5. Under is juiced. We're looking at -136. They are -103 to make the playoffs and -124 to not make the playoffs, and they get a nice soft opening, I think, Randy, to this season. They open with Tennessee and Indianapolis, and so that's a pretty good indication. They got a great chance to start 2-0. Tell me your favorite bets or your thoughts about the Broncos playoffs, totals, what have you.
Yeah, anytime you get to play the AFC South is a pretty good advantage, especially to start out the season. So definitely like that. Like you said, over 9.5. I lean to the over there, and I also lean to them dismantling the Chiefs here for the division. Here you can get them about 3-1 for the division. Feel like that's a pretty good thing. You got the Chiefs coming off the Super Bowl hangover, and we've seen definitely bad spots for that. The main reason I like this Denver team, their offensive line ranked number 2. They're ranked. They were banged up some last year, but they returned some pretty good players here, and a steady unit. And I think they'll be able to run the ball better here with the signing of J.K. Dobbins at running back, and then the 2 combos they got there with him and Perry. I think be pretty good. They also signed Evan Ingram at tight end, so I think the offense is going to be a little better. Not too worried about the hangover here for Nix in the second year, second year blues. I think he'll get more. I think he'll get more equating to the offense. I think he'll be all right. And the number one thing I like about this team is their potential to be the number 1 defense in the NFL here. They added Greenlaw. They added Hufanga from San Francisco, and they also got this other rookie Barron for a cornerback here. That should help him a lot. So I like that. He came out of Texas, so I like this being one of the top defenses in NFL. So that's one of the main reasons I like this team going into the season. So high on the Denver Broncos.
I think that this has got a great chance to be the toughest division in all of football. The Chiefs are the Chiefs, the Super Bowl runners up. But Randy, when you look at what's happened in this division in the last 3 years, it was the Chiefs, and 3 years ago was 3 of the worst coaches in the NFL with the Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos. Now you have the Chiefs, you have Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Pete Carroll, which means that all 3 of those organizations are way better, and they're in different stages. Peyton's in year 3, Harbaugh's in year 2, Carroll's in year 1, but this is light years better than the coaching that we had in this division just a couple of seasons ago. And the quarterback play is better now. Bo Nix is better than what Russell Wilson was in his first year in Denver, and I expect Geno Smith to be better than any of the quarterbacks that the Raiders trotted out there last year. Herbert has been a good quarterback. They had the rough playoff game, but the coaching and the quarterback play in this division is so much better than it was just a season or 2 ago that I'm with you. I think that the Chiefs, for the first time in a while, have legitimate competition in this division.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, the quarterback's play is a lot better. The coaches are actually a lot better. We used to have, some pretty bad coaches there. The Chargers there was a pretty bad coach, and of course Denver's had their run of coaches there that weren't very good either. So the coaching has definitely gotten better in the division, and this might be a little spot here where Mahomes is still going to always have a good team no matter what comes up here. But coming off the Super Bowl hangover here for him and Reed's going to be a tough spot here, I think, for the Chiefs this year.
I thought it was interesting what they did in the draft. I know Jimmy loved this because he's a big build, a lot of your defensive schemes around. If you have great corners, and I agree with him on that, if you have great corners, man, it frees you up to do a lot of stuff. And they've got the best corner in football in Pat Surtain. What do you think it's Surtain, or you think it's Derek Stingley? They could be 1 and 1A, but I think Surtain has been at least one of the top 2, if not the best corner in the league the last 2 seasons. And a lot of people thought that they would take a running back, that they needed help at running back, and they would take a running back in the first round of the draft. They did not. They took Jahdae Barron out of Texas to put on the other side from Surtain. If you've got, and Riley Moss is not a bad cornerback as well, so really they've got 3. If those guys work out, and you put a real presence on the other side of Surtain, man, they could open so many things up defensively for this team.
Yeah, definitely. And they got a really good linebacker core, too. They're real fast. And, we've seen, too, that they can rush a passer real well, and that's going to really help getting Greenlaw there, too. And they got the tackling guy in the middle with Singleton. They also got Benino, who can really rush a passer there, too. So that'll help them if they can. They're pretty strong up front, so that should hold up the run defense. Like I said, I think this is one of the top defenses in the league, if not the number one defense. So it should work very well. And he's been a good coordinator, Vance Joseph. You got to give a little shout out to him. He's been a very good defensive coordinator over the years.
We know the Joseph name.
We stay in Denver.
Yeah, we know that name down here in Louisiana. The Josephs have a long football history. And Randy, I was looking at the schedule prepping for this. There's some soft spots. Okay, their division schedule I think is going to be really, really tough. But they play against the AFC South. So you get games with Tennessee, Indianapolis, who's got quarterback problems, Jacksonville, who was not good a year ago. We don't know about. They do have to go to Houston, and then you get the NFC East, which is tough, but it does give you some spots in here. You get a 2-game stretch with Tennessee, Indy to open. You get the New York teams back-to-back, neither one of those games on the road. Those are winnable games. Jacksonville's a winnable game. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. There's maybe 4 or 5 games here where the Broncos could be close to a touchdown favorite. So that's a pretty good spot to start at.
Yeah, and they've proven they could beat the lower teams last year, just seeing if they can beat these more winning teams. They usually got a tough schedule against some of those too. So, the schedule looks good for them. This team looks strong. Of course, we'll see how they come out. They should, they got a later bye too, week 11. So we'll see how that goes. They play the Raiders right before, and no matter what the records in the Raider game, usually a close game. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll see how they're sitting at after week 11 as far as taking this team going forward. But I definitely think this team's going to be real strong and be a contender in the AFC and a good chance to win this division.
After that bye week, 3 of their last 5 games are against their division opponents, and 2 of those games are on the road. So if they're sitting there at 11 after week 11, within striking distance, they'll have a chance maybe to control their own destiny. Last thing on the Broncos, where do you have Sean Payton 2.0? It was a rocky start for him, but he inherited a mess. He's in year 3 now. This is mostly his personnel now that he's working with.
Yeah, I've always had him a top 5 coach. Way back when he was with the Saints, I usually had him below Belichick and below John Harbaugh, and I would still have him probably maybe just below Andy Reid and now John Harbaugh. I would have him probably 3rd or 4th in the NFL top 5 coach, so right around that range. So, he's been very strong, doesn't make strategy mistakes. In fact, I remember a game in Chicago with the Saints where he called a timeout in the first quarter just to keep the wind. I thought it was a very good, smart move, and ended up working out because I think the Bears punted only for like a 20-yard punt or whatever it was, and that impressed me about his coaching for sure. Anytime they make a smart strategy move, that shows that they're in tail and not like these other teams that where they have coaches that commit these penalties and then make dumb strategy mistakes and not go for it on 4th down and that kind of thing.
Randy, we always appreciate it. Jimmy's going to be back next week, and we'll continue our previews as we count down towards the opener. Thanks a lot, Big Dog. Have a good trip.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Good luck, everybody out there.
And we'll take a break. Snow's Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway at 74 in Gonzales. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget our friends at K&M Automotive on Segan Lane. Segan and Perkins, between Perkins and I-10, right across from Ambrosia Bakery. So whatever, hey, your engine light comes on, bring it on in. Belts, hoses, wheels, tires, general services like AC repair, AC service, undercar services, transmission work, electrical work, electronic, whatever you need on your vehicle, bring it to Jason Payne, because what you want in a mechanic, his auto maintenance work is a fair deal. You've heard the horror stories. You'll be getting upcharged for unnecessary work. Not the case at K&M Automotive. 8445 Segan Lane, Segan but Perkins, across from Ambrosia Bakery. We're open 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Tell Jason you heard me talking about it right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It's the only place I take my vehicle, K&M Automotive on Segan Lane.
Live at lunch.
Baseball and softball players of all levels get the competitive edge you've been looking for at Total Diamond Performance. Do the same lessons, camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything from mental performance, in-game video and data analysis to improve pitching, throwing velocity, bat speed, and fielding. Total Diamond Performance is tailored around the individual player to build strength and athleticism while also cleaning up mechanical deficiencies. Matt Mastretta applies what he's learned working in player development with college and MLB teams. Total Diamond Performance, 931-3730. That's 931-3730.
Do you know what you would do if you were in a car wreck? It's easy to panic when you or someone you care about is hurt in an accident. Who will pay the medical bills? Who will pay the car repair? Who will deal with the insurance companies for you? Protect your rights. You need someone you can trust. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 343-1111. The law offices of O.C. Brown will handle everything for you. 343-1111 or online at ocbrown.com. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Attention, vehicle owners. Before you trade your transportation, let K&M Automotive give your vehicle a new lease on life with a remanufactured product from Jasper Engines and Transmissions. A Jasper remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential will extend your vehicle's life, giving you the extra cash to do the things you really enjoy. And Jasper offers a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide parts and labor warranty. K&M Automotive, 636-2875. That's K&M Automotive, Segan near Perkins.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference, all in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
The Grand Bayou Casino, conveniently located off I-10 at exit 139 in Grostead, offers the latest video poker machines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Got a great staff at the Grand Bayou Casino. Our inviting staff will greet you with complimentary coffee and sodas as you enjoy listening to the curated tunes in our comfortable seating. Make the trip to Grand Bayou Casino, where players are welcome. The Grand Bayou Casino, I-10 at the Grostead exit. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-877-770-STOP. The Grand Bayou Casino. With all of the financial headlines, are you worried if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by your local Edward Jones advisor. Tex Morris on Jefferson. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
ALS is a progressive and neurodegenerative disease, and we need your help to find a cure. The mission of the ALS Association, Louisiana-Mississippi chapter, is to discover treatments and a cure for ALS, and to serve, advocate for, and empower people affected by ALS to live their lives to the fullest. Whether you are newly diagnosed, a military veteran, a caregiver, or someone looking to learn more about how to navigate living with ALS, they can help. Visit als.org to learn more. That's als.org.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Scott Rabley will be with us at the top of the hour. He was at LSU's first practice this morning, also was at Brian Kelly's first media availability this morning. One other note that we omitted from the top of the show, or the second segment of this show, is there is one injury that Brian Kelly reported on, and that's freshman offensive lineman Solomon Thomas. He broke his 5th metatarsal. He's going to miss a month, so he won't be back until pretty much they're ready to start the regular season. He was there in spring practice. He was working a good bit with the twos, as I remember, in spring. 6'4", 335 pounds. Remember, this is the guy that they flipped right there at the end. So he is going to miss all of fall camp. Really tough for a freshman offensive lineman to work his way back in after that. So we'll see what Solomon Thomas looks like in a month, maybe even a red shirt at that point. So that kind of shifts my attention to Carius Kern, the other freshman offensive lineman who I thought might work in and get some time here in his first year. 6'5", 335 pounds. 30. He'll get a look as well. But Solomon Thomas going to miss all of fall camp. Other than that, they're in good shape, and Nick Anderson's going to be back. He has cleared concussion protocol for tomorrow's practice. We're here at Snow's Seafood and Steak, where today's lunch specials include the smoked Gouda sliders and the grilled chicken sensation salad. Live at Snow's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, there are no alike. So Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure those goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his great staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Edge Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
At Town Square Pizza, we take pride in serving Baton Rouge with fresh, delicious, piping hot, personalized pizza with unmatched speed. Whether you're a downtown worker, a family looking for convenience and value, or an out-of-towner staying at one of the nearby hotels, Town Square Pizza is the spot for you. Try a specialty pizza like the Spanish Town Supreme or custom build your own. Family packs, kids' meals, and salads are available as well. It's hip to be square at Town Square Pizza, downtown facing. What else? Town Square.
Go Automotive has a great selection of new cars. Chevy, GMC, Hummer, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. You rather a pre-owned vehicle? Using our resources will help find you any vehicle that you're looking for. Our service department offers VIP service. You never have to come to the dealership. We'll pick up the vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner, service the vehicle, and return it when it's done. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. The Chevy Tahoe I drive came from Go Automotive. That's Go Automotive in Laplace and Plaquemine.
If you're near the north side of campus, I need to remind you about a couple of longtime favorites. Highland Coffee is the original specialty coffee shop in Baton Rouge since the 1980s. A personal favorite. Love getting my cappuccino from their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Roasted right in the shop. Louis Cafe for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. The Mitchell Omelet, Cajun hash browns, Big Cheesy Lou, all served up in that famous open kitchen atmosphere. In Tigertown since 1941. A couple of great spots. Highland Coffees and Louis Cafe just outside the north gates of LSU.
This is Charles Henniger. For total maintenance for AC and heating, generators, electricity, and plumbing, Total Maintenance is your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these needs. Service today, every day. That's their slogan at Total Maintenance, so nobody ever has to go to sleep hot. Over the years, Total Maintenance has expanded into the New Orleans area, as well as their offices in Baton Rouge with full staffs in both markets. Call 480-1000 in Baton Rouge or in New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance.
Get Moss Max and less text during happy hour at Modesto. Join us Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. for $10 20-ounce margaritas and Dip Trio with $5 drink specials and $6 seasonal cocktails. Eat Modesto, 3930 Burbank Drive.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating up its new half-off happy hour, Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Come enjoy 50% off margarita, pepperoni, 4 cheese, craft cocktails, wine by the glass, and draft beer. Roca Pizzeria, 3897 Government.
Louisiana's big weather can mean big damage to your roof. Our team offers free inspections and guarantees your satisfaction. Call 756-8603 or visit riceandroofing.com.
Just to be on the safe side.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims? Because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports. And it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions. Just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
And we return here at Snow's Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway at 74 in Gonzales. Come by and enjoy the lunch specials today, which include the smoked Gouda sliders and the grilled chicken sensation salad. You know, they've been here since 1971. Snow's Seafood and Steak, delicious fried seafood, and so many other specialty items that you can get here at Snow's. We invite you to come by and check us out here for lunch. Scott, you know that Sounders got. It sounds like you're pouring a nice cool glass of lemonade, which you might have needed on the practice field today. It's a little bit warm out there, and Brian Kelly talked about what is going to be their acclimation period, which is why they only went an hour today to start off. But good to have you with us again, my friend.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. For everybody, kind of eased into practice. They started with the first few periods indoors, and then they went outside for a little while, and the whole thing was a little over an hour. But he talked about how the first 7 days of practice are when you get the most soft tissue injuries. So they're trying to ramp up as they go along, not just get out there and start with a bang, which they usually don't. And then, they said after that, they still have 3 weeks to do all the installation, the preparing they want to do. But it was a pretty soft opening, as they say, right? They were in those padded helmets, no shoulder pads, just shorts, and there were a few guys hitting the ground, but not too much of that, not too much physical activity, contact.
It seems like it's been kind of a theme of New Orleans Saints camp is the recuperation periods, and less is more as far as the contact there. I mean, look, the Saints have been decimated by injuries. LSU's had a better run than that, but this sounds like Jack Marucci research at work here, that, hey, listen, of all of the soft tissue things we've gotten in the past, however many camps Jack goes back, a lot of them occur at the beginning. So, hey, go ahead and ramp it up. Well, let me just give you the floor here for a second. What did it look like on the first day of camp?
Well, they a lot of individual drills, and they went to 11 on 11 work inside and outside. I hate to state the obvious, but Garrett Nussmeier was throwing darts, man, all over the place. I wasn't the only one who was coming. I saw Jacques Doucet had tweeted it, and I think Matt Moscona was out there, Ton Palmer. Cokie Riley, who's one of our LSU beat writers, of course, said, I wasn't here in 2019. Is that what Joe Burrow looked like in practice? I said, yeah, he did. He kind of, from the start, just throwing the ball with accuracy. He threw a beautiful ball to Berrien Brown when they were still indoors in 11 on 11. Berrien was tightly covered in the right corner of the end zone, and he just laid it right in there. And one of the new receivers, Berrien Brown, and just made a bunch of nice passes. A nice little middle screen to Bauer Sharp, over the middle. That worked well, and throwing the ball in the backfield. There were a couple of times when he had to just defeat it, because the rush was coming on. But it looked like a nice cohesion with the quarterback and the receivers. And Brian Kelly said they got about eight. He feels like he has 8 SEC caliber receivers, and it's the deepest receiver core he's ever had. Wood Weeks and Harold Perkins were both out there working. They both looked good. They were doing everything that everybody else was. Weeks was very energetic, his usual self. Harold Perkins showed good lateral movement. I saw, I thought, good stop and start, that kind of thing. That coming off that ACL injury last September, and the offensive line. We got a feel for the offensive line. We can talk about who was number one with on both sides of the ball if you want, Charlie.
Yeah, let me see if I can do this from left to right. Tyree Adams, Josh Thompson at left guard today, or Paul Mubenga. Was it Thompson today or Mubenga? I think it was Thompson.
Tyree Adams. No. DJ Chester started at left guard.
At left guard, okay, then so
Josh Thompson was at right.
Right guard, okay. I got him got him flipped, and then Weston Davis on the other side at right tackle, and Braylon Moore at center, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And Brian Kelly was, of course, asked about this. He said, "How close to this are we? How close to?" The starting offensive line is this? Does this look? And he said, right now we're still competing for positions, is Brian's words. There's still competitive battles right there on the O-line. We have to evaluate the best five and see over the next couple of weeks. So he talked about more moving Chester over, but he mentioned guys like Mbenga and a couple of other players. They're far from a finished product there, I think. But it was interesting to see that those five there, and of course Chester being at the guard spot, as we all expected with Braylon Moore coming in.
Yeah, that was something that was discussed in spring because Chester hung out at the center position a little longer in spring than I think we may have anticipated. The next guy, Mubenga, I would give him an outside shot to win a job here. I think he'll probably end up with the second unit, but he did start at the end of last season, the last month of the season.
Yeah.
And then
I saw a list, Charlie, when we were walking into the interview, the team room. And they had it just happened to be on this screen. I saw listening. He was listed as a second team.
Yeah, I think that the five you saw today are the five that are favored to start the season if everybody stays healthy. And then I would say your next lineman after those first five, Mubenga, probably Cohen Eccles, probably Bo Bordelon, and
he mentioned Bo Bordelon. Yes.
Yeah, and then the wild card I would say is Carius Kern, who is just a massive, just a massive man. He's a true freshman though, so I'm not expecting anything from him right off the bat. That's a lot to ask from a true freshman offensive lineman. And unlike 3 years ago, they're not going to be pressed into starting a true freshman because they don't have other guys with the experience. But those would be the next four that I would look at. That sound about right?
Yes, and Charlie, it's simple. It seems like just a simple, see spot run kind of thing. But it seems to me that this is the season, right? If they can protect Garrett Nussmeier and they can run block, then they can be a playoff contender, a championship contender. If not, the season turns on a very different track and not one that anybody wants. So this is a crucial area for them. They got to get this right, and they got to get the five guys out there. We're not just the five most talented guys, but the most cohesive, right? The best unit playing together. This is very, very, very important.
It's a lot harder, I think, to pick the first four on the defensive side, but I'll give it a shot. Guillory and McKinley at the tackles, and I'm going to say Relaford and Patrick Payton at the defensive ends, or maybe Jack Pyburn.
Relaford and Pyburn at the ends. Ahmad Breaux and McKinley were at the
tackles.
Okay. The very first play.
Okay.
And he mentioned Dominic McKinley. There was one thing that was interesting about him. He said we ran out of weights for him to max squat. He was at 650 pounds. A couple of people noticed Dominic McKinley. Also, Bernard Gooden, the transfer from South Florida, had a nice play, just one play. He broke through and would have had a TFL on Caden Durham on an inside running play. So he showed a little something there. But those were the very first four out there. Pyburn, not Payton, and then Breaux and McKinley. Obviously, obviously, there's other players who can fit in there and be in one of those spots. But that was what we saw that right at the outset. Jacoby Guillory, obviously, someone who you figure will factor in, and he was practicing. He was practicing. By the way, very healthy first day. Everyone seemed to be doing stuff. The only one who was somewhat limited was Nick Anderson. He did individual, but not 11-on-11 drills because he was coming out of the concussion protocol from a car wreck. Kelly said he should be full go tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good news. Guillory I asked about because we only saw him a little bit in the spring. You wanted to see on the first day, Guillory, Weeks, Perkins, okay? Just what kind of shape are they in? Are they limited in any way? And it doesn't appear that is the case. So let's go to the secondary. I'm going to let you talk so I don't embarrass myself here because there's about 4 or 5 guys that I could pick. I mean, if it's me, it's probably Stamps and Delane at the corners, but they might have had Pickett out there, and it's probably safety's even tougher, man, because some of those guys got there late. But I'm going to say Cooley and Gilbert, but it could have easily been somebody else back there. So give it to me in the secondary.
Charles Hannegriff, you sell yourself short. That is exactly what it was. Those were the 4 who started the drill. Stamps and Delane at the corners. We saw Pickett, obviously. And then Jordan Gilbert and Tamarcus. That's okay. Tamarcus Cooley.
Tamarcus.
Transfer from NC State. Obviously, there's a lot of guys. We were watching. I was talking with Reed Darcy and Koki Riley from our staff. And obviously, as you alluded to, there's a lot of other names you could plug into some of these spots. But those are the starting 4. Stamps made a very nice PBU, one play. There's some tight cover. I saw tight coverage, but Garrett Nussmeier was just throwing the ball and hitting people, right on target. It made it tough for some of these guys. But I mean, obviously, I saw good on both sides from what this drill is for. These drills.
If they can defend everybody but Garrett Nussmeier, they'll be just fine. I don't mind. I'm checking my notes here, checking my rosters because that's what Brian Kelly said. Hey, he had to check his notes for all the numbers. We're all getting acclimated here on the first day. AJ Halsey, the safety from Houston.
AJ Halsey, yeah.
Yeah, I expect him to play. In fact, I expect him to start. Not necessarily day one. He just got here, but I expect him to be very much in the mix.
Harold Perkins, by the way, was in that star position. It seemed to me more secondary than linebacker. I didn't see him. I certainly didn't notice him like down on the edge, like being an extra rusher. It was the Weeks brothers. Witt and West were managed to linebacker spots. He had 4, 2, 5 with Harold Perkins, kind of in that roaming position that were as the star, this hybrid position that they talk about, which we're. I don't know about you, Charlie. I'm still waiting to be. I say comfortable is the right word, but confident in LSU using him the right way, and that he's gonna fill the proper role that he did like he did as a freshman, just see ball, get ball. He's gonna be all over the field, and I think you saw more a little bit in coverage today than maybe up front.
He needs to roam him star self into a pass rushing position. I know he's got to cover. If he's going to be out there every down, he's got to cover. I was talking about this with Rohan yesterday, okay? Harold Perkins has had every opportunity in the world to get out of here, okay, for 3 years. And I don't say that in a negative way, but we heard I can't tell you how many stories in the offseason after his freshman season, after his sophomore season, the transfer portal offers were obscene to get him out of here, okay, because he might not have been used in the right direction. And then even with the injury last year, he could have put himself in the draft, okay? He has had every opportunity to leave, and he hasn't done it, which leads me to believe that he's comfortable in what they're asking him to do. He's comfortable with these defensive coaches. He and his family are comfortable with what Brian Kelly is doing with him. I just hope it translates onto the field because it seems to me that they have had him out of position for 2 years. And I'm not gonna pull up on that because I watched the kid as a freshman and I watched him the last 2 years, and we're sitting there at halftime of the game in Vegas going, okay, they did it again. They managed to take this monster and completely neutralize him. Not USC, LSU. So if he's comfortable, that's a good sign because he could have left a bunch of times and he hasn't. So let's see if they got it right this time. I'm hopeful, and I'm very excited to hear that he's back from the injury. So that's good news too. What about DJ Pickett? You pick him out of a crowd, no pun intended, because he's the tallest cornerback out there.
He is very tall. Yeah, no question about it. I mean, he was in the rotation. I mean, he didn't stand out or not. Yeah, this is the first day of preseason camp for a true freshman, and obviously, I just got the impression he was just kind of trying to feel his way. And like I said, with Sampson and the lane going first on 11-on-11, they're not trying to put too much pressure on him. It's only the first day. They got a long way to go, and that could change. But I just he was just kind of trying to learn, trying to absorb. He didn't do anything spectacular. Didn't do anything spectacularly bad either. So just a good first day for him, and we'll see where he goes from there. Okay.
Anything that I left out for the start of LSU camp here today?
Destin Hill made a great one-handed catch. There was one pass that I saw that Nussmeier threw kind of high. He climbed the ladder in coverage and went to get it on the sideline. That was a nice play. And Kelly, like I said, mentioned the receivers. He mentioned Kyle Parker. He thought he would have a good year. We saw Kyle Parker make a catch, and they do have a bunch of receivers, man. I mean, they really do. And of course, the running back situation has been pretty split with Caleb Jackson and
Caden Durham.
And Caden Durham, sorry, Caleb and Caden, it trips me up every time. Durham got the first snap, but Caleb Jackson was in there as well. So obviously, there no surprise, I guess you would say that those are the two big backs. I didn't really notice Harlan Berry at all. I mean, he was out there, but I didn't really notice him do anything spectacular. But there was a nice pass catch out of the backfield by Durham. There was a couple of nice runs by him. He looks like the starter, but again, it's day one.
Dustin Hill's interesting. He just hadn't played a whole lot of football recently because of injuries and time away from the game. But at one time, he was a premium prospect. We'll see if he can return to that form. One more thing, Scott, before we let you go. You wrote a column earlier this week that you believe that Les Miles will make it into the College Football Hall of Fame now that the criteria has been adjusted. With any of the reaction that you've gotten to that column, you still believe that with the new criteria that he will get in?
I'm not sure if I'm 100% convinced that he will get in. I think he deserves a shot. I know he's got baggage. I know he did some things at LSU that are difficult. The big thing, but they lowered the threshold from 600 to 595 winning percentage for coaches to get in. Coach 10 years, won 100 games. He's got all that other stuff. He's got this was designed to get Mike Leach, the former Miss-State swing your sword Pirate coach, to get into the Hall of Fame, and he'll get in the Hall of Fame as a football innovator. But Les Miles says, say what you want about the hat. He's got a much more impressive resume. Won a national title, played for a second, won 2 SEC titles, played for a third. But LSU, but one of the schools where he coached has to nominate him. And I don't think it's going to be Kansas. I don't think it's going to be Oklahoma State. It would have to be LSU. So I don't think the door is closed. Even though he sued LSU to try to get himself eligible to the Hall of Fame, I don't think the door is closed to the possibility that they would put his name into consideration. But I think that'll happen eventually. That's just the impression I get right now. But they've got a couple of years before this class, this eligibility rule kicks in for the class of 2027. So we shall see. And then we'll see. If the voters vote him in, they vote him in. If not, they don't. But I think there's, not to condone anything Les did, but I think there's O.J. Simpson's still in the College Football Hall of Fame, Charlie, and he's in Canton. So I don't think anything Les Miles did was quite that egregious.
Scott, we always appreciate the time. I'll see you out on the practice field this weekend, and we will talk to you next Wednesday. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Charlie.
We will take a break here. Live at Snow's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Now, everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, Big Cheesy Lou, and those Louis Original Cajun hash browns. We now offer a pickup window. Just call in your order at 346-8221. Give us 15 or 20 minutes, and we'll have it ready for you. Our hours are now 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. So next time you visit campus, make it a point to stop by and visit an old friend. Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road since 1988. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games in a casual atmosphere with the friendliest service. We're now boiling crabs at Sammy's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday starting at 5 p.m. and on Friday, Saturday, Sunday starting at noon. Sammy serves a wide mix of authentic Louisiana food prepared to order with the best ingredients available. Fresh Louisiana seafood, Cajun favorites, burgers, and po' boys, all built from scratch. Our kids' menu and popular appetizers are sure to please the pickiest of eaters. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road near Starring since 1988. By now you know that we do our show every other Tuesday at the Crown Town Room at Doe's Eat Place. The Crown Town Room is ideal for larger groups, or if you just want to watch the game on one of our 3 large TVs. The tamales are the most popular appetizer, but don't forget the seared tuna with the sriracha glaze. For the perfect blend of sweet and spicy, you can't go wrong also with the flash-fried oysters or the shrimp. The porterhouse is the perfect steak to share. Strip on one side, filet on the other, prepared at different temps if you like, bone in to maximize flavor. Doe's Eat Place on Government Street, just off Acadian in the heart of Mid-City.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports, and it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions, just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net.
This is Charles Hanniger for Coastal Capital Advisors. When it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike, so Coastal Capital Advisors will tailor a plan for your family's needs no matter your age or your financial situation. The bottom line is Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you and build a lifetime relationship. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Age Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and ocbrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Day for Total Maintenance and Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt. The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny.
What you saying, Hanny? I was on the phone with Wes.
No, it's okay. For the consensus picks, I'm going to need you to get Max on the phone. I forgot to tell you at the top.
Okay.
Oh, not this.
Highway and Highway 74 in Gonzales.
Yeah, no, I have Wes right here.
Okay, good.
Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Fin Bomb, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference. All in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
And we return here at Snow's Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway at 74 in Gonzales. Wes, congratulations. Another hit last week at the 3M on Kurt Kitanyana, and a very nice payday last Sunday. So congratulations, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much, Charlie. You made it a little dicey at the end with that 3-putt on 17, but you felt, can he duplicate the 60 that he shot on Saturday, and then he birdied 6 of the first 8 holes on Sunday? Because usually there's regression from a terrific round like that, but fortunately there wasn't last Sunday.
All right, we're going to get back to the golf in a second with the Wyndham coming up this week. But before that, LSU started practice today. All the colleges will be in camp today, tomorrow, Friday. And so everybody's getting ready for the season now. So I'm trying to kind of get everybody's opinion on what they think of LSU before we get started, and I especially like it with people outside of the market because we can get in a little bit of an echo chamber down here in camp as things get a little bit redundant. So, what are your thoughts about LSU? Their chances to make the playoff, win the conference, make a legitimate run at a national championship from outside of this market?
Well, look, they got the quarterback to do it. I think Garrett Nussmeier is a talented guy, and I think they're going to be better at the skill position. And, they kind of had a down year or two, but I think they're going to be better there. Now, is the offensive line going to hold up? That's my one concern about the offense, because I think that they could be pretty darn explosive. But, look, they've changed the way a little bit that they've built the roster. The GM, Austin Thomas, sounds like he's had more of a role in the roster, that it's not just Brian Kelly. So I think that they rightfully do have playoff expectations. I don't know if they're going to win the SEC. It's pretty, I think, even up at the top, but I could see them making the playoff. I just think as long as you got the quarterback and he's a viable Heisman candidate, and you've got guys that can make big plays for you on offense, I think that they certainly have a chance. But I think it sounds like the natives, at least from the outside, are getting a little bit restless, with LSU. That, 9-4 is not a bad season, but it's not exactly satisfactory down where you guys are.
No, it's playoffs or bust this year. When I say bust, just disappointment. I'm not talking about firing a coach or anything like that, but it would be a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs. The SEC odds drop off considerably after the first 4. Texas is the favorite. Alabama's right behind them. Georgia comes in third, and LSU at fourth as it stands right now. We had this discussion earlier in the week. I'll get your opinion. Is there anybody besides those 4, after you get past the top 4, the drop-off's pretty significant, that you think has a legit chance to win this conference? You'd get pretty good odds if you think outside of those top 4.
Yeah, it's tough for me to get there really on another team. Maybe Florida is a sleeper because they do, I think, have the best talent they've had certainly under this current coach. But I still think that they're a step below. I think you've got like a bunch of teams that are kind of a muck in the middle. Florida, Ole Miss, certainly the Aggies. Maybe the Aggies could be a little bit of a dark horse, but I kind of think that they're all there just in that big bunch in that second tier.
I do too. I'm curious, not to say that I would back them, but Oklahoma added what they think is an upper echelon quarterback in Mateer, and they added a big-time offensive weapon in Jaden Ott, who had a really good year at Cal last year. And they're closer to the bottom than they are to the top. Now, I don't think they're going to win the league, and I'm not wild about the coach. But I do think that it's at least interesting if you bring in a guy like John Mateer and you say, hey, maybe if what he did at Washington State translates this year, maybe Oklahoma can be better than the 10th place team in the league, which is where they're picked right now.
Yeah, and they also bring in Ben Arbuckle, who's the offensive coordinator, and it's kind of what Vanderbilt did, right, with Diego Pavia, where they brought in the coach and they've also brought in the quarterback, and they had some success. So they're trying to duplicate there at Oklahoma. Problem with Oklahoma, and when they were rolling under Bob Stoops, they had, and even Lincoln Riley, they had receivers that could make plays, and they just don't right now. So maybe the scheme that Arbuckle and what the offense that they're bringing in can kind of override that. But I look at this receiving core and I'm like, oh man, nobody really scares you necessarily. Like Burks is okay, but I don't think he's as good as some of the receivers they had certainly had over the years.
Well, one of the guys they might have been counting on is here in Baton Rouge, and Nick Anderson, who was their leading receiver 2 years ago. So we'll see what they got to replace him. All right, let's get to the golf. The Wyndham Championship. Max is out today. Well, he's not on site with us today. He's going to join us in the next segment. But he tells me that this is a better than expected field for the Wyndham here in Greensboro before we get into the playoffs.
Yeah, there's some names here. I mean, nobody of like the real, truly elite status in the game, because this is the last event, of course, for the FedEx Cup playoffs next week, starting Memphis at the St. Jude. But you got some good names up top. One that I did take, and I usually don't take a name right up top, was Matt Fitzpatrick at 20-1, who has only played here one time at the Wyndham, but I just couldn't ignore the form. He was fourth at the Open when we bet him. He was fourth at the Scottish when we bet him, and then he was eighth at the Rocket Mortgage before that. So he's won at Harbor Town at the RBC Heritage, which is the event held in Hilton Head there in April. And there's a lot of players who have won at both venues, who have won at that event and this event at the Wyndham Championship. So you do get some correlation. So Matt Fitzpatrick up there at the top, and then Lucas Glover, who has won here before, won here in 2023. And when you look at this course at Sedgefield down in Greensboro, you kind of think of ball strikers, driving accuracy and guys that can hit greens and guys that are good with the irons, and that's Lucas Glover's wheelhouse. So of the two shorter prices, those are ones I have.
All right, Matt Fitzpatrick, Lucas Glover. Who else as we go down into some of the longer shots?
Andrew Novak, 66-1, who was the runner-up, actually, in South Carolina to JT, lost in that playoff at the RBC Heritage. Currently 13th in the Ryder Cup standings, so you do have some of them Ryder Cup bubble boys, especially on the U.S. side. And Keegan Bradley, by the way, in the field this week, who is the Ryder Cup captain, so he gets a look at these guys. Novak is 13th in the Ryder Cup standings, but he's in the mix, and he's come close to his first solo win. He won down there in New Orleans with Ben Griffin at the Zurich, but I think a win is going to get him at least some strong consideration for one of those final spots. So Andrew Novak, 66-1. Another SEC guy who played at Alabama, that would be Bud Cauley, 80-1, who played really well in the spring, then kind of cooled off, but he's comfortably in the playoffs. Now he's trying to get that first win. So he was missed a few years basically with that car accident. So he's been kind of rounding back in the form. I think he could go well at 80-1. And then three triple-digit guys: Rio Hisasane, 110-1, 81st in the FedEx Cup standings, trying to get in that top 70 to get in the playoffs next week. 4 top 10s this year. P6 at Colonial, which is, I think, a really good correlation to Sedgefield. And he doesn't have to use the driver as much. This is an event where you use a lot of 3-woods, a lot of long irons. Victor Perez, kind of the same profile, 110-1, top 10 in this field in good drive percentage, top 10 in strokes gained approach. And then one that's a real bomb, 175-1 that I played, but he popped on all the stats this week, is Ben Coles, who was top 20 last week at the 3M Open. He was third on approach, second for greens and regulation. Former Korn Ferry Tour Player of the Year. He's 151st in the FedEx Cup, so you got to win probably to get in that top 70, but you also got to try to get into that top 125 if you want to go ahead and lock up your tour card for next year. So some pressure on some of these guys down lower on those FedEx Cup standings. Kind of last chance to dance, at least for next year.
Fitzpatrick, Glover, Novak, Cauley, Histanaway, Perez, and Coles. We're going to do recap that with Max in the next segment. Before I let you go, Wes, you obviously from the Midwest. Did you grow, and I know we're close in age, did you grow up watching Ryan Sandberg?
I did. Of course, when we all got cable in the early 80s, WGN was a national network. Back when WGN would show Chicago programming, and they would show Cubs games. It was the same thing with TBS down south, where we got all the Atlanta Braves games. And that's why I think they built such a fan base, especially the Braves. Cubs have always had it. But, yeah, I watched Rhino, and one of the great Hall of Fame induction speeches in Cooperstown, and then he played the game the right way. He just enjoyed playing baseball. And I think that was really palpable to all the fans that watched him. So, very sad to hear that Ryan Sandberg has passed.
Seems like we've been doing way too many obituaries here of late. So Sandberg, I posted this on Twitter. I think that if you watched baseball in the 80s, there was a great chance that either your favorite player was Dale Murphy or Ryan Sandberg because of what you just said. The reach of cable television coming into prominence at that time, and those were the best players for most of the years with those teams. And then the Braves kind of fell out, and then the Cubs, man, you look back at it, the amount of talent that they had for the less winning that they did. I mean, Andre Dawson was there, Rick Sutcliffe was there, Greg Maddux was there, Mark Grace was there. You know, they put some talent through there. They had a couple of good years, but not as many as you would think for the amount of talent that they had.
No, not at all. That '84 season, of course, was a magical season. That clip where he had the 7 RBIs against the Cardinals has made the rounds on social media, and he took Bruce Sutter deep late in the game, back when closers worked 2 and 3 innings and not just come in and get 1 or 2 outs and shut it down. But yeah, a lot of memories with Ryan Sandberg. Even though I'm a Reds fan, always respected him.
Yeah, not only I saw the highlight when they were doing his tribute the other day. He took Sutter twice deep in that game. How many closers are allowed to pitch again to that guy? That doesn't happen anymore. That's from days gone by. Wes, we always appreciate it. Thanks for your time, buddy. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
You bet, Charlie. Thank you.
All right, Wes Reynolds joins us every Wednesday. We're brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, your situation is unique, so let Coastal Capital Advisors work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure all of your retirement goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, I can tell you for sure, because they've built a lifetime relationship with me. Trust them. You're going to be able to talk with them. You'll be able to work through scenarios, no matter what portion of your life you're at or what your income level is. They'll make a plan that's perfect for you to maximize your retirement goals. Philip Fontenot and his staff, 337-981-1376, online, coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, member FINRA SIPC. We'll come back here at Snow's Seafood and Steak, give you our consensus golf picks when we return live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows. If your homeowners association requires wood windows like mine, no better people to call, because you get the best of both worlds. The builder wants something that's going to last. Yes, we do too. But the architect wants something that is going to prioritize what looks better. We want that too. But you also want it to be functional also. It is functional. I love my Relief window. When the weather is really nice, roll them open in a media room, man. Enjoy the open air. And they look great. They're functional, and they are built to last. They're built to last because it's RLS wood by Geldwin. Unlike your average wood, which is treated on just the surface, it's treated straight through the core, offering unparalleled protection against rot, water saturation, and termites. These wood windows from Relief Windows are built to last. Check out all of their products at reliefwindows.com. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com.
Live at lunch.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
Workbox can handle all of your movable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, or even 8x40 feet. Not just one size. These units can be customized for any use. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites for plumbers or welders, dual purpose, part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, using different materials, whatever you need. Give my buddy Martin Padial at Workbox a call at 343-4886, 343-4886, and workboxllc.com.
Attention vehicle owners, before you trade your transportation, let K&M Automotive give your vehicle a new lease on life with a remanufactured product from Jasper Engines and Transmissions. A Jasper remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential will extend your vehicle's life. giving you the extra cash to do the things you really enjoy. And Jasper offers a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide parts and labor warranty. K&M Automotive, 636-2875. That's K&M Automotive, Siegen near Perkins.
Get Moss Max and less text during happy hour at Modesto. Join us Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. for $10 20-ounce margaritas and dip trio with $5 drink specials and $6 seasonal cocktails. Eat Modesto, 3930 Burbank Drive.
Pizza that's true to its hand-tossed wood-fried tradition. Roca Pizzeria is heating up its new half-off happy hour, Monday through Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. Come enjoy 50% off margarita, pepperoni, 4 cheese, craft cocktails, wine by the glass, and draft beer. Roca Pizzeria, 3897 Government.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference, all in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net.
Need more space? Workbox LLC has the storage solutions you can count on. Whether you're a homeowner, commercial contractor, or industrial business, we have the space for you. Our secure, versatile storage units are ready to meet your needs. Contractors, keep your site organized and efficient. Store your materials with us and access them anytime you need. Businesses, industries of any size, Workbox LLC is your trusted partner for flexible, safe storage. Workbox 343-4886 and WorkboxLLC.com. The new location of Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Wesley across from Mike Anderson's. Man, the place looks great. Lots of indoor and outdoor seating options with plenty of big TVs to watch all your favorite games. All of the traditional Mexican cuisine with a great happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Plus $5 margaritas all day, all night on Wednesdays. Great spot to bring the baseball team in between games. Just 5 minutes north of Traction and 5 minutes south of LSU. Los Reyes Mexican Grill, 1072 West Lee, near Nicholson.
This is Charles Hanniger for Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, there are no two situations alike. So Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure those goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his great staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Edge Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
Our Wednesday consensus golf picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
And we return here at Snow Seafood and Steak. Dana Brown, law office of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime. Call them 343-1111 on the web, ocbrown.com. Number of different times over the course of our lives, we've used Dana and his team of attorneys for a number of different legal needs. That first consultation is always free. So if you've got issues, you've been in an accident, you've got other legal needs, contact law firm O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and on the web, ocbrown.com. Max joins us now for the next segment. Max, you heard, I know, Wes's picks. So for the Wyndham this week, our consensus golf picks.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple common picks, and I'm going to start off with one of them. He says he doesn't like to start off with favorites too often, and I'm very much in that camp. I do not like to bet the favorites in golf tournaments, but this case, the favorite is 20-1, and I think he's a worthy favorite. Matt Fitzpatrick, 20-1. Just trending in the right direction. He went from 17th to 8th place, and now he's got back-to-back 4th place finishes overseas in the Scottish Open, the Open Championship, and those are different type of golf courses. That's, fescue, the turf is different, so you might be a little hesitant now that he comes back to America, but he's 43rd in the FedEx Cup standings, so he has some work to do to set himself up well for the playoffs. And because he's in good form, I like the fact that he's coming back to a Bermuda grass golf course. He has always putted well on Bermuda greens, and this is just something that we don't really see as much anymore on the PGA Tour. With some of these southern courses that come earlier in the schedule in the spring, they actually end up doing this sort of oversea, this Poana mix or ryegrass mix. So even though you come to the South where you think of Bermuda grass greens, we really don't see that many on the PGA Tour schedule anymore. We will see it in the Tour Championship coming up in Atlanta, but this is a chance for Fitzpatrick on his best green surface. We've seen him win the RBC Heritage. It's a positional golf course. Fairways are very important. He's been hitting a lot of them as of late. His iron play has been really good, trending in the right direction, which is why you've seen the results. So I think Matt Fitzpatrick is a very worthy favorite at 20-1. So I know Wes is on him. I'll be on him as well. Another guy who I don't feel like is getting talked about as much this week is Jordan Spieth. And I'm just going to play the number here because he's 45-1. Now, he hasn't won in quite some time. I think he's got like 2 wins in his last 7 seasons. So Jordan Spieth is not exactly the winner that he once used to be, unfortunately, as tough as it is for me to say as a fan of his. But his iron play can really pop off at random times, and that's something we've seen throughout this season where he's got a random top 10 finish at the Memorial, at the Byron Nelson, back at the Phoenix Open. So he's very streaky with his irons, and he's someone who's going to be very used to playing in Bermuda, coming from Texas, coming from the South. He's got a pretty good track record putting on Bermuda. He's, I think, a slightly better bent grass putter. But this is a positional golf course where he's had success in the past. He certainly drives a lot better than he used to in his career, but he's won the RBC Heritage. He's done well at Colonial, won there before. So another course where just getting it in play, maybe taking less than driver off the tee is important. Jordan Spieth's got some work to do. If he wants to make the Ryder Cup team, he just needs to show some form, and Keegan Bradley will probably put him on the team, but he's 50th in the FedEx Cup standings right now, so he's got some work to do for the playoffs. He's going to make the playoffs, but he'd like to put himself in a better position. So Jordan Spieth, 45-1. Another guy who's often on leaderboards in which Matt Fitzpatrick does well at. We've seen him in a playoff for the Heritage, so between those two players. So Fitzpatrick and Spieth are my 2 favorite plays. Christian Bezuidenhout is 60-1. Seems like a popular pick this week just because he's another guy who hits fairways. A pretty good iron player as of late, really gained on approach in his last 10 starts, and also a great putter. That's always something he's been good at. Mixed results here at the Wyndham. Last year, he finished 22nd at this event. That's his best finish here at this event. So not the best track record by any means, but he's a great putter. Donald Ross greens, a lot of break to him. Bermuda greens, he's putted well at. So Christian Bezuidenhout, 60-1. And since I played the favorite, I've got a lot of long shots just to round out the card because you can't really get too excited about the favorites. Austin Eckroat, 110-1, another good player on Bermuda courses. He's won on a Bermuda course. He's a good iron player as of late. Less than driver courses also fit him well. Not really great when he's got to just whale a driver on every hole, but showed some form a little bit lately. 11th place at the John Deere a few starts ago. So I like where Austin Eckroat's position. Jacob Bridgman, 120-1, another great Bermuda specialist. Someone who just kind of pops off if you look at models in terms of iron play. Also a great putter, specifically on Bermuda. Finished 12th place last year at this event. So Jacob Bridgman, 121. Rio Hisatsune, another specialist on Bermuda, another guy who had a great finish last year. Finished in the top 5, kind of out of nowhere. So someone who's better on positional courses, just put the ball in play, figure it out from there. 4th place finished the Valspar earlier this year. 6th place the Memorial. Those are, or not the Memorial, at the Charles Schwab. But another course where you got to just put the ball in play and figure it out from there. Adam Svensson, 170-1. Not someone I particularly play, but starting around in a little bit of form. He's 170-1, and I think that's a pretty good price on a guy who finished 14th last week at the 3M. A good fairway finder, top 7 finishes in his last 2 starts at this event at the Wyndham. So he's got some good form on these Donald Ross greens. Tremendously good putter in those results. So we'll see there. And then one real long shot. I know I've got 8 golfers here, but a lot of them are long shots. So just worth little tiny sprinkles. Zach Blair at 400-1. Another guy from the South who's randomly putted well here and really one of the best iron players in this field. So at 400-1, the fact that you're getting a guy who's so good on approach, I like him this week. But that means our 2 common picks this week between myself and Wes, our consensus picks, Matt Fitzpatrick at 20-1 and Rio Hisatsune, the Japanese golfer, 120-1 this week, the Wyndham Championship.
All right, Max, we appreciate it. We will have you back on with us tomorrow when we will be at the Queen. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks. See you.
And we are brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and heating, generators, electricity, and plumbing. Your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these things since 1980. Service today, every day, so nobody's got to go to sleep hot. And Lord knows at this time of year, if you got AC problems, you really got problems. In New Orleans and Baton Rouge, full-service staffs in both areas. Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem AC units, and Generac and Cummins generators are an authorized dealer for all those brands for all your electrical and plumbing needs as well. In Baton Rouge, 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap things up here at Snow Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway in Gonzales. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
This is Charles Hanniger for Home Bank. If you're tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking, you deserve a bank that
Whenever I'm ready.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
It's rolling.
All right, let's see. This is Charles Hanniger. Join us for the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at the Queen Casino in downtown Baton Rouge. Patrick Everson from Vegas Insider joins us along with Dwayne Colucci from Las Vegas. And it's LSU's second day of practice. Live at Lunch from the Queen, 11 a.m. Thursday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit Rufino'sRestaurant.com. Rufino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Baseball and softball players of all levels get the competitive edge you've been looking for at Total Diamond Performance. Do the same lessons, camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything from mental performance, in-game video, and data analysis to improve pitching, throwing velocity, bat speed, and fielding. Total Diamond Performance is tailored around the individual player to build strength and athleticism while also cleaning up mechanical deficiencies. Matt Mastretta applies what he's learned working in player development with college and MLB teams. Total Diamond Performance, 931-3730. That's 931-3730.
This is Charles Hanniger for Total Maintenance for AC and heating, generators, electricity, and plumbing. Total Maintenance is your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these needs. Service today, every day. That's their slogan at Total Maintenance, so nobody ever has to go to sleep hot. Over the years, Total Maintenance has expanded into the New Orleans area, as well as their offices in Baton Rouge with full staffs in both markets. Call 480-1000 in Baton Rouge or in New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance.
At Town Square Pizza, we take pride in serving Baton Rouge with fresh, delicious, piping hot, personalized pizza with unmatched speed. Whether you're a downtown worker, a family looking for convenience and value, or an out-of-towner staying at one of the nearby hotels, Town Square Pizza is the spot for you. Try a specialty pizza like the Spanish Town Supreme or custom build your own. Family packs, kids' meals, and salads are available as well. It's hip to be square at Town Square Pizza, downtown facing. What else? Town Square.
Louisiana, you've got a new home for coverage of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, and the Southeastern Conference. LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. Feature stories, opinion columns, recruiting updates, in-game reports. And it's all free. No paywalls, no annoying pop-up ads, no recurring subscriptions. Just the content you crave. From the folks that bring you 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, it's LouisianaSports.net.
Go Automotive has a great selection of new cars. Chevy, GMC, Hummer, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. You rather a pre-owned vehicle? Using our resources will help find you any vehicle that you're looking for. Our service department offers VIP service. You never have to come to the dealership. We'll pick up the vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner, service the vehicle, and return it when it's done. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. The Chevy Tahoe I drive came from Go Automotive. That's Go Automotive in LaPlace and Plaquemine. If you're near the north side of campus, I need to remind you about a couple of longtime favorites. Highland Coffee's the original specialty coffee shop in Baton Rouge since the 1980s. My personal favorite, love getting my cappuccino from their friendly, knowledgeable staff, roasted right in the shop. Louis Cafe for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. The Mitchell omelet, Cajun hash browns, Big Cheesy Lou, all served up in that famous open kitchen atmosphere. In Tigertown since 1941. A couple of great spots, Highland Coffee's and Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Down at Saints camp today, still the three-man rotation at quarterback. Jake Hayner, kind of the forgotten man over the summer and all of the previews leading up. Still taking reps with the ones. That would lead me to believe that we are a long, long way from deciding a starting quarterback down in New Orleans. Do with that what you will. The Saints are still a week and a half away from starting the preseason, but the NFL preseason will start tomorrow night. The Chargers and the Lions in the Hall of Fame game. I'm glad. I forgot to make fun of him, but I will tomorrow when Max comes back. He's going to be glued in to the game because Trey Lance is starting at quarterback for the Chargers tomorrow night. Cincinnati Bengals released Zach Moss today. He was splitting time with Chase Brown the first part of last season. Chase Brown took over as the Bengals' lead running back in the second half of last season. They brought back Samaje Perine, did Cincinnati, and Taj Brooks from Texas Tech was a draft pick of them. So we give you a little Bengals news here and there for those of you Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase fans. Today it snows. The Wednesday smoked Gouda sliders are on special. Grilled chicken sensation salads tomorrow. It is the beef tenderloin kebabs, grilled and basted with a lemon vinaigrette, served on top of rice and feta cheese. And the blackened mahi salad with the blood orange vinaigrette. Tomorrow your lunch specials. On Friday at Zapp's Catfish and the shrimp greens on Friday here at Snow Seafood and Steak since 1971. Here, Airline Highway at 74 in Gonzales. Tomorrow, we will be at the Queen Casino. It's the second day of LSU practice. Plus, we'll have Patrick Everson from Vegas Insider, Colucci from Vegas, and a whole lot more. For Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon from Snow Seafood and Steak. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Camps, classes, and clinics used by top college and MLB organizations. Everything.
All right, Henny, have a good one.